game plan was not to really throw the Floyd, in the open space, but try to get him on the rope. And every time Manny got him on the rope and he started throwing those combinations, he would let up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know if he was thinking like, if I throw one more punch, I might get countered.
No, actually, Lennox Lewis actually explained that. He was like, because Floyd just basically went into that shell, he just tucked his elbows, put his hands up. He was like, eventually, Manny had to be thinking, if I keep doing this, I'm going to punch myself out.
I'm going to get hit.
I'm going to punch myself out and get tired. And I was like, yep. See, I can appreciate, like, this is why I like listening to people who understand what's going on before me, even if I don't. Because once you explain it to me and I can correlate it to what I'm seeing and it makes sense, I can say, all right, now I have a better understanding of what the hell is going on. And now I have a better appreciation of I've probably seen I don't know, four Floyd fights maybe. And every one, you gain a little bit more of an appreciation for who he is and his skill as a boxer. Like, again, this dude is far from a brawler. So all those people who came out of this fight, like, oh man, Floyd, like Manny just talked about, like, this is the other thing. Both these fighters admitted to before this fight, not watching film on their opponents. But this particular fight, Pacquiao watched film on Floyd, right? Freddie Roach talked about it, right? So you watched the film. Why are you talking about this dude moving now after the fight? What did you look at that no one else saw?
No.
That's what he does.
Well,
he's not going to let you hit him.
But it's just one of those, okay, because all right, against Maidana, and Maidana won. Like, because Maidana kept pressing Floyd up against the ropes and was really landing punches, Floyd really started letting more punches go that fight. Like, he really let some punches go. But it's one thing to see a dude on tape, but it's another thing to actually see a dude in person and actually in the ring with him. I mean, because, this is the first fight, like, for real. And I kind of was digging what Floyd was doing, that Floyd has actually had a man reach over his opponent, and he kept putting that jab out there.
Just kept popping with it. Bap.
Yeah, every time Manny wanted to come in, the way he thought he would see an opening, even if Floyd wasn't throwing it as hard, he was just sticking it out there, just enough to bang Manny up. You know what I'm saying? So, for what we did see, I give Floyd Mayweather a lot of credit. You know what I'm saying? Because, he won the fight. At the end of the day, he won the fight.
And at the end of the day, he fought his fight. If anybody's going to be mad, anybody listen to this podcast being mad because the fight wasn't as exciting, blame Manny Pacquiao. He's the one that didn't fight his fight. Floyd fought the same way I've always seen him fight.
That's right.
I've always seen that dude be a defensive fighter. Like I said, the 4 or 5 times I might have seen him fight, that's it. Manny Pacquiao, if it's boring, if you was like, oh, you disappointed, I want my money back, you that person, blame the Filipino dude. Blame the people's champ, not the actual champ. You know what I mean? Because that's all Manny Pacquiao is now. I still love Manny. He's the people's. Yeah, whatever. Miss me with all that.
But now after the 4th round, I will say, because that's when Manny had really started. That was the one round that everybody was like, oh, here come Manny, because Manny opened up in the 4th round, and he.
That's funny. That's the round he said his shoulder started hurting. That's funny that the round everyone's giving him credit for is like, oh, but man, my shoulder was really bothering me in that 4th round. Yeah, I'm good. You lost me.
But that's when Floyd Sr. was really getting on Junior. Telling him like, dude, you got to turn this up. Don't let him get you in the corner and just start throwing punches. So again, for what it was worth, we saw it. Mayweather has one more fight. We don't know what it's going to be, who it's going to be against, but it's not going to be for the championship, because at the post-fight press conference, he announced that he's surrendering the titles. I think he did it today. So he said he felt like some other fighters needed a chance to compete for the belt. So he let our 3 go. So.
Yeah. By the way, too, this is one of them things. Like, certain things happen in life, and you start realizing, like, how certain things might just be there all along, but you don't really notice them. Like Saturday, I happened to notice that our show's Twitter account follows Skip Bayless, and it's been there for a while, and I know it has, but for whatever reason, I just never really noticed it. Yeah, we don't anymore. Immediately, like as soon as he was like, I agree with Manny, he won the fight. unfollow immediately. No explanation needed. Done. Like you can't be that stupid. No one can be that stupid to actually have eyes and watch this thing and say that this man won in any way, shape, or form. Like even he was like, yeah, I think I won. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's the concussion.
Well, I mean, I didn't think that all three judges would go. I didn't think Floyd had unanimously won. I thought Floyd had won the fight.
What? That he didn't follow you too? What do you mean?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I didn't think that the fight was. I mean, because first of all, dude, it was a god awful fight. You know what I'm saying? And that don't have nothing to do with me wanting to see them throwing fisticuffs. It's not even about that. I mean, Floyd had his game plan. It worked. I mean, you know, he did a lot of holding, did a lot of hugging. You know, and you know, and it's so crazy to actually see what's the ref name, Kenny Bayless, to see him let Floyd get away with that much hugging, because just last week I'm watching Klitschko defend his belt, and the referee basically told him every time he held, he said, "Look, if you hold him again, I'm taking away another point." Like he took away, like, so, you know, like I said, it's kind of crazy, but you know, it is what it is, man. Floyd won, but I mean, I didn't think, I thought he won majority, but I mean, unanimous. I mean, that's kind of, you know,
like,
that's just one of them.
What did Manny Pacquiao do to make you think it wasn't unanimous? That's probably my question for you, because I watched it. What I'm saying, initially when the fight was over, I didn't think it was going to be unanimous, but because of where I was, I didn't see the punch test. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hadn't seen any of that. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't until after the fight, you know, I'm looking at my email and I'm looking at the punch test and I'm like, damn. Like, I didn't realize how many, you know, that Floyd had really, I mean, had done him like that statistically. Yeah. You know, I didn't realize that. You know, so because a lot of times with boxing, I mean, you see people land punches that you think they landed, you know, but according to company box, they didn't, and then some that didn't land, the company box that did. So, you know, I had no idea, but based on the stats, he clearly won the fight. I mean, even with the eye test, won the fight. Yeah, exactly. Because I didn't know the numbers until you just read them. To be honest with you, until you read them a few minutes ago, I didn't know what the numbers were. I just know what I saw. Like, that's all I was going by. I was tweeting about it and watching it at the same time, and I was like, "What the hell is this dude doing?" Like, I thought the whole game plan from the beginning was put pressure on Floyd. That's what happened in the last fight. The dude, whoever it was, the dude put pressure. Yeah, right. Put pressure on Floyd, and you know, made Floyd open up a little bit. And Manny was like, "Nah, I'm not going to do that. I want to do everything but that." All right, then you'll lose. You know. Speaking of losing, dude, This is what you ain't explained this to me, and I heard this during the fight. That the dude who knocked Manny out the last time, what's his name?
Juan Manuel Marquez.
Okay, Marquez, right? You was like, you said to me one time that fourth fight shouldn't even have happened, but during the fight they explained why it happened. Because Manny kind of Timothy Bradley that dude in the third one. Like, everyone had the other dude, what would you say his name? Marquez? Winning. Right. So then they had to have a fourth one. Like, you was acting like this dude got beat up by Manny. He just, like, kind of gave him this, like, charity for a fight.
No, but I'm just saying, you got to stop at some point. You know, it's like, y'all just can't keep, because I think the first fight was a draw. Then the second fight, Manny won outright. Then the third fight, Manny won by on point.
But it ended in controversy.
Yeah.
So then the fourth fight, there is no controversy. Go to sleep.
Right, but I was just saying, but there was just no reason for. I mean, again, like, I just felt like that was just too much. You know what I'm saying? Like, and nobody paid for that fight because it was the fourth one. You know, like these dudes are gonna change weight classes and everything since the first fight. You know what I mean? It was just like, come on, man, it's too much. It's too much. Like I say, you know, I'm always one of these dudes. Like, if it's a trilogy, if it's a good one, okay. But it's like, you know. And the other thing was, Floyd wouldn't take that fight with Manny, so Manny ended up settling really for Marquez. It was one of those deals where nobody's out here for me to. I'll take the 4 points.
You're bad.
Yeah, it's bad. Exactly.
And I'm getting that ass whooped.
Exactly.
But finally, as we wrap this conversation up, what's ahead for boxing? You know, I have a theory about boxing and boxing fans. It's really come to a head this weekend. That first of all, before I go into that, I'll ask you this: like, where did your fandom for boxing stem from?
I grew up watching boxing. Really the whole. And I don't want to call wrestling a combat sport, but granddad, my uncle, my dad was huge. My dad was a huge boxing fan.
Exactly. That's where I wanted you to go with it. That's exactly what
because
go ahead.
Because we've had this conversation about my love for baseball, and that's because I grew up watching it with my granddad, and he used to take me to the game. So yeah, go ahead. I know it's a generational.
No, not that, not being generational, but it's a nostalgic sport for people. You know what I mean? Because what boxing does to you, and because I didn't even know that, I just figured it was because that's where a lot of people come from. I remember watching boxing with my dad. I just never once it ended with me, like when the Tyson thing was over with, I was like, all right, time to move on. Let's do something else because this thing is not going. I didn't feel like it was going anywhere. And I'm always the what's next guy. I'm the what's next guy. I've been that way since I was a kid. But boxing is such a nostalgic sport. So when something's happening, it's always related back to something else in the sport.
Right.
And then it's always related back to a moment that I had personally, like with somebody I loved or with somebody that I enjoyed being around. And the fact that people are having a hard time believing that the sport is gone. It's done. You know what I mean? Because while boxing is looking for what's the next one, there was never that issue. There was always like 3 or 4. We're not looking for the next one because now Floyd's gone. He's gone. For all intents and purposes, Floyd is gone. Manny's gone. You know what I mean? And now what you're saying is like, man, like the other day you mentioned some dude, like, I can't wait till somebody see so-and-so, but that's one dude.
Oh, yeah.
You're putting the weight of the sport on one dude.
Well, no, but that's because he is he holds one of the heavyweight titles. And what's his name? The Bronze Bomber. I can't even think of the kid's name right now, but he's a black dude. You know what I'm saying? From Alabama. You know what? He owns the belt that Klitschko doesn't have. So,
but you get my point though. You know what I'm saying? Before it was like Lennox Lewis and Holyfield and Tyson. It was like a group of guys. At all times, there was always like a group of guys within the sport that was like, all right, cool. They got this group. There's this group. Now it's like Floyd. Quiet. Crickets.
Because at one time in the heavyweight division, you just named them. You could go with, I'll just throw some names out there: Holyfield, Tyson, Lewis, Michael Moore, and I'd say George Foreman. I'll just throw his name out there.
Even guys like Michael Spinks was in that kind of that era. You know what I mean?
I would count him more in the 80s.
Okay.
I would count him more in the 80s because he fought Mike Tyson.
Kind of.
Kind
and
that was like 89, and that was probably his last fight. So, but I'm just saying, like in the 90s, because like I said, George Foreman had come back. Then you had Riddick Bowe.
Yeah, exactly.
You had a group. Then you had Michael Tubbs. It was like a lot of guys that were in that group, and then. You had your lightweight guys like your Arturo Gatti and your Andre Ward. In every weight class, it was something good. Even in the 80s, so you had the heavyweights, then you had the middleweights, which were like Tommy Hitman Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard and your Marvelous Marvin Hagler and all that. So you were getting a lot of action from guys that were known in the sport. But I'll say this, that is what Al Heyman is trying to do with this Premier Boxing Championship, is that he's trying, and through, having these boxing matches, these main event boxing matches held on CBS, what else we got,
NBC
Fight
Sports.
Network, NBC, it's like 4 or 5 networks. That's what he's trying to do, is try to make some of these boxers household names. So then, in hopes that it'll drum up some attention, and some of these boxers will become, a household names. But I don't. Again, the football, basketball phenomenon. I think is definitely taking its toll on the sport of boxing. It's just one of those things where, a guy like Roy Jones have to fight on ESPN or any of those